Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a waiting room, waiting for God to answer a prayer or fulfill a promise? You know He's made a promise, you're holding on to it, but the clock just keeps ticking and nothing seems to be happening. It's frustrating, right? Well, if you've ever felt that way, you're in good company. Let's talk about one of the most famous waiting stories ever, the story of Abraham. Picture this. God shows up to a guy named Abram, who's already 75 years old, and gives him this incredible, life-altering promise. In Genesis chapter 12, God says, "I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you." Wow, a great nation. That sounds amazing. There's just one tiny problem. Abram and his wife Sarai have no children, and they're not getting any younger. So Abraham packs up his life and follows God. He believes. But then years go by. 10 years pass, and still no baby. Can you imagine the conversations between Abraham and Sarah? Is it happening yet? Any day now, right? The doubt must have been creeping in. It's at this point, in Genesis 16, they decide to take matters into their own hands. Sarah suggests Abraham have a child with her servant Hagar. This leads to the birth of Ishmael. It seemed like a logical solution, a way to help God out. But it wasn't God's plan, and it created a lot of heartbreak and family conflict that lasted for generations. This is such a relatable moment. How many times have we tried to force a solution when God's timing felt too slow? We get impatient, we get scared, and we try to make things happen on our own terms. But God's plan is always better than our shortcuts. Fast forward another 13 years. Abraham is now 99 years old. God appears to him again. He reaffirms the promise and even gives them new names. Abraham, meaning father of many, and Sarah, meaning princess. He says, "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son." Sarah, who's eavesdropping from the tent, literally laughs out loud. And can you blame her? She's 90. From a human perspective, it was impossible. But as God asks, is anything too hard for the Lord? And just as he promised, a year later, Isaac is born. The name Isaac actually means, "he laughs," a beautiful reminder of Sarah's initial doubt turned into incredible joy. 25 years. That's how long Abraham and Sarah waited from the initial promise to the fulfillment. A quarter of a century. So why the long wait? Why would God make a promise and then take 25 years to deliver? It wasn't to be cruel. It was to build something far more valuable than a nation. It was to build unshakable faith. During those 25 years, Abraham learned to trust God when it made no sense. He learned that God's promises aren't dependent on human ability, age, or circumstances. He learned that God is faithful, even when we are not. The waiting period stripped away all of Abraham's self-reliance, so that when Isaac was finally born, there was no doubt in anyone's mind that it was a miracle from God alone. But the story doesn't end there. The ultimate test of Abraham's faith comes later. In Genesis 22, God asks Abraham to do the unthinkable, to sacrifice Isaac, the very son of the promise he had waited so long for. This is a tough passage to read, but it reveals the depth of Abraham's trust. He had come to a place where he believed that even if he sacrificed his son, God could raise him from the dead to fulfill his promise. He trusted God's character more than he trusted his own understanding. Of course, God stops him and provides a ram instead. The test was never about taking Isaac's life. It was about revealing Abraham's heart. The waiting, the struggle, the impossible test, it all served a purpose. It transformed Abraham from a man who tried to help God out with his own plans into a man known as the father of faith. A man who was willing to trust God with everything, even his most precious gift. So if you're in a season of waiting today, be encouraged. God hasn't forgotten you. Your waiting room might just be a training ground. He's using this time to deepen your trust, to strip away your self-reliance, and to prepare you for the promise he has in store. Like Abraham, you'll learn that his timing is perfect, and his plans are always worth waiting for. The process might be long, but the faith it builds will last a lifetime. Thanks so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that explores faith in our everyday lives. See you in the next video.